Hello everyone. Today we're going to be road tripping in a Tesla. We're heading from Davenport, Florida on down to Port Charlotte to visit some family. We're going to take you along to show you just how easy it is to road trip in a Tesla. We're going to be taking my wife's Model Y instead of my Model 3 because she has the full self-driving 1-month trial that Elon gave to all the Tesla owners. Let's go! So I put in that we're going to be going to the Arcadia supercharger. Now normally you would just put in the navigation where you want to go. And if you need to charge, it'll tell you exactly where you need to stop. For instance, let me show you. If I wanted to drive from Florida up to my brother's restaurant on Long Island, I would just put that in. It'll calculate. And it'll tell you exactly how many supercharger stops you would have to take and how long you would be there at each session. So it's super easy to road trip in a Tesla. But for now, we're going to put in the supercharger so that the car knows that we're going there to charge, and it'll precondition the battery. We'll talk about that a little more later. It'll tell us exactly how much. It'll be 52%. We started at 80%. We'll be at 52% when we get to the supercharger. And my wife wants to say hi.
And I'll say hello. Hi, everybody.
All right, so I have full self-drive mode on, and we're at a red light. So we'll see what will happen. Not touching the wheel right now, not touching the pedals. We'll see what happens when the light goes green. There it is, green light, car's going. Now it'll recognize traffic lights and stop signs. It'll make turns for you. We'll demonstrate that when we have to make a turn as well. Now this is not full autonomous driving. You still have to pay attention. You still have to touch the wheel once in a while. You should keep your hands nearby. You have to be ready to take over at any moment. There is a camera inside the cabin that watches you. It's keeping an eye on your eyes. Make sure you're paying attention. If I were to go to pick up my phone, it would disengage automatically. The camera's up here in the rearview mirror. So now we're cruising along. It just took us from the left lane into the middle lane because it's not going to let you stay in the passing lane if you're not passing. So we'll see how the speed limit increases from 45 to 55. It'll start to pick up speed. I'll set my max speed at 60, and it's picking up speed on its own. You can see just how many lanes of traffic, not only in the direction you're going, but in the other direction as well, that the cameras can pick up. You can really see everything. When we get to the next intersection, I'll show you just how much it'll pick up there as well. All right, so we'll be coming up on 60 miles an hour soon. So I set the max to 65. And it should start to pick up as soon as we hit that. There's the speed limit sign. Max to 65. So right now we're in the right lane, and what happens a lot of times is it'll change lanes if it knows the other lane is going to be faster. So let's see what happens here. We have a little road work coming up. Use caution, so it might change into the middle lane so that we can go a little faster. Let's see what happens. And there it goes. It's going to start changing lanes so that it can go into the faster lane of traffic. Watch to see if anyone's on that side. Once it's safe to move over, it just moves over. And we're going to go into the left lane again so we can get into a less traffic lane. And bring us back over again. Probably not something I would have done because I can see up ahead there's a wide load taking up 1.5 lanes, so I probably would have stayed in that left lane, but it is definitely safer than you driving. It is a lot less aggressive than you would be. matter of fact, sometimes it's a little frustrating because you want to go a little bit quicker and you want to dart in and out of traffic, and it's not going to take that chance for you. So it is definitely a little more cautious than I would be, but it does make it safer. So we're at an intersection now. I'm one car back, as you can see on the screen, and look at how it could see, even though there's a pickup truck to the right of me, you can see all the cars on the other side roads. And here we go, we're going to start taking off. We're watching people turn to the left, and it's keeping its distance from the car in front of me. Hopefully they'll get moving soon. All right, there they go. Get all the traffic on the other side heading north. So we're coming up on the right turn here. Hands off the wheel, hands off the feet off the pedals, and it's going to make the turn for us.
But even better with a car there, you can see it.
Coming up on the stop sign here, little divided road. Let's see how it handles this.
Oh, a little hard.
Stops a little abruptly, looks both ways, and here we go. We got another stop sign coming up.
Maybe it'll stop better on this one. Sorry.
Yep. Definitely a smoother stop there. Just gonna creep up a little bit to see if there's anybody coming. We're clear to go. Here we go. So here we have a mail truck on the right, and it's going to go around it nice and slow. No problem. Let's see how we do on this turn up here. Truck in front of us. Quite a bit of traffic coming on the left.
A much smoother stop.
Much smoother. Gonna creep up a little bit, wait for this car to pass. As soon as the car goes, we go. Nice. Coming up on the left-hand turn.
Now turn left onto North Olivia Drive.
So it always stops exactly where you're supposed to stop, and then creeps forward, sees that we're clear, and goes.
Now turn right onto State Road 64 West.
Coming up on another intersection here. We've got some traffic coming on the left. So let's see. I probably would have jumped out in front of that guy, but like I said, it's always going to take the safer route. So as soon as we see that truck pass, it's going to go.
Okay.
So we're going to have a little Q&A session now. So we're going to start with my wife, and I'm going to ask you, you've been driving electric vehicles now for almost 3 years. Do you have any range anxiety?
No, not really. Sometimes I feel like, oh, you know, I drive a couple of days without charging, and I'm like, ooh, it's at 30%, but not really. It's not like where I feel like, oh, I'm going to, you know, it's going to go to zero and not do anything. You start to realize that the car is really, you can trust what it's telling you with the percentage. I like the percentage, not so much the mileage. It kind of is the same as saying, oh, you have a half gallon of gas. Like, I know I'm at 50%, right? So I just feel like it really goes pretty far without having to do it. I don't really range anxiety.
And what about charging? Your first EV was a Volkswagen 94, and that used Electrify America. So not quite the infrastructure that Tesla has. Was it more difficult to charge the ID4 than the Tesla?
Oh, much more. I hated charging the ID4. So because we had 3 years of free miles, there was a charger at Electrify America not too far from our house. So we would go there. If Ray was with me, it wasn't such a big deal because he would do it and I would just sit in the car. But if I was by myself, I could never get the app to open. The place where it was didn't have Wi-Fi unless you paid for it. So there was little Wi-Fi. I'm trying to open the app. Passwords didn't work. Everything would be set up. There was only a couple that were working. The guy would be there like all the time fixing them. And it was really like to the point I was like, I'm just going to pay for it at home. I don't care. It's such a pain in the neck to do. I don't know. I understand why people don't like electric vehicles. And then I got my Model Y and I did my first trip to Buc-ee's, which is a big gas station, but they also have chargers. It's about, I guess, about an hour from the house. And I went there with my friend and I walked up, I took the plug. There were tons of them available. Plugged it in and it recognizes the car and started charging. I didn't have to do the app. Oh, we're going to change lanes. I didn't have to work with the app at all. It just did the whole thing. And we went inside and shopped for a little while. It told me when the car was done charging. My phone buzzed and I knew it was done. And then we went outside and got it and went on our way to dinner after that. So it was really super, super easy. Way easier than the other car, than the ID4.
What's great about Tesla too is when you're 30 minutes away from the supercharger, it'll automatically start preconditioning the battery for fast charging. You can see that up on the screen over here. And what that does is it gets the battery to the optimal temperature to accept the fastest charge possible. This makes your stops much quicker than in a regular EV. There are different types of battery chemistry as well, which you don't realize before you start driving an EV, even amongst Teslas. So my wife has a certain battery that likes to be charged only to 80%. And in my car, I have the LFP battery. I have a 22 Model 3 rear-wheel drive with an LFP battery, and it really likes being at 100%. So you have to keep that in mind as well. My wife's car, the Model Y here, will charge faster at a supercharger than mine will. So that'll make the Model Y a little better road tripper, even though road tripping in mine is a lot of fun as well. But we got the preconditioning going, and when we get over to the supercharger, we're going to get out, we'll see what percentage we're at. We're going to run to the restroom, and then come back out and see how long it took and how much battery we got. All right, we'll see you at the supercharger. All right, so we just arrived at the supercharger. We are at 51%, and we're going to plug in and head inside for the restroom and see how much we get and see how long it takes. So this is how easy it is to plug in. Open the port, plug it in, it's going to start going.
That's it.
That's it. We're green, we're charging. It is now 12:06. All right, so it's 12:17, so it was 11 minutes, just enough time to run into the restroom, come back out. We went from 51% to 74%. You can see down here that the charging session, $5.78. Actually, it just changed, $6.12, and we're at 74%, and we have plenty to get there and to even make it back home again afterwards. So we probably would have even had enough to go there and back, but we wanted to stop and charge, show you just how easy it is. And what's your favorite thing about driving Tesla?
It's so fun. It's just fun to drive. People ask me that all the time. Oh, you got to save money for gas. And yeah, that's great. I mean, you do save a lot of money. You don't have any maintenance and things like that. But the real joy of it is it's just fun to drive. Like the self-driving is great, but I like to drive. And so just having that instant acceleration, the speed of it. We have the speed boost too, which is really cool. I like that when we're stuck somewhere, or I did have actually one time I had a flat tire and I had to wait for a tow. And it was that the tow companies were very busy at that time, and it was like an hour I had to wait. So I just popped on Netflix and relaxed with the air conditioning running in the car. You know, in a gas car, you can't do that. You can't just sit and let the air conditioning run. You burn through your gas, and it's just uncomfortable. But in an EV, that's no big deal. So they're just fun.
For me, I like the fact that there's no transmission, so it's incredibly smooth, the drive. I was coming out of a 2016 Hyundai Tucson. It was the first year they did a dual clutch transmission, and it was not perfected, to say the least. I had brought that back to the dealership I don't know how many times over the years that I had owned it, but the car would just stutter. As soon as I would try to take my foot off the brake at a red light, and the car would just shake and then get going. The shifts weren't smooth. So the smoothness of the transmission really got me. And the other thing is the maintenance. Really the only thing you have to do is rotate the tires, and I could just go on my app, set an appointment, they'll come to the house and rotate the tires for me. $65 and I'm done. Or you could bring in a discount tire and they do it for free. But maintenance on it, no oil changes, don't have to worry about the radiator, even the brake pads. I'm probably not going to change the brake pads for over 100,000 miles because the regen braking is what's, you know, as soon as you let your foot off that accelerator, you start braking. It's not using the brake pads, it's using the motors, and it's getting you more charge back into your battery as it does it. Now, that will go through your tires a little quicker because you're using the rubber on the tires, that friction, in order to help you stop. But not terrible. She's got almost 24,000 miles on this. Still on the first set of tires. They still got plenty of tread left. So those are some of the favorite things about me for Tesla. Would you ever go back to a different?
Never. I would never go back. And you know what I was thinking too when you were saying that? The ID4, the tech in the car wasn't that good either. I drove a Santa Fe before that, which had smart cruise control. It had like a whole bunch of features in it, cameras all around. And then I went into the ID4 and I felt like I walked backwards. And I was that probably frustrated me more than anything, the lack of cameras and stuff like that. And I just said, when I got in the Tesla, I felt like, wow, I have all the tech I'll ever need. And with updates, you get even more. I don't know if you saw before, when it goes to change lanes, if somebody's in your blind spot, the screen itself, where the speed limit is, turns red. And I said that in the ID4. There was no nothing telling you. There were no, when you put on the signal, there were no cameras showing you the view. And I had that before. So to me, that was one of the best things, that when I went to Tesla, I feel like, wow, I have the newest technology. And every time something updates, he updates your car, over the air updates. And I know you're supposed to get them with the VW, but they never updated me at all. I had the car a year and a half. I never got one update. I don't even know how many you think we've gotten from Tesla in this car, in the Model Y.
Yeah, usually at least once a month.
Yeah, I was just going to say, we've had lots of them.
To give you an example, when I bought my 22 Model Y, I picked it up in January of 22. And when I had ordered it back in September of 21, there was no heated steering wheel, there were no heated rear seats, and there was no blind spot camera. By the time I picked it up in January, he did the software update on them and gave me a heated steering wheel, heated rear seats, and within a few months after that, he decided to give everybody a blind spot camera popping up on the screen. So it was a software update overnight, takes about 20 minutes, does it automatically, you don't even have to think about it, and I get these new features. So every time there's a new feature, just this one alone, that he gave us 1 month free of full self-driving, just so you could see how amazing it is. I'm sure he's going to get a lot of people ordering it. It's $12,000 if you want it for lifetime. I would suggest, if you are going to do it, you subscribe at $199 a month. Reason being, right now it's not transferable. He does run specials sometimes that if you trade in your Tesla, he'll let you transfer it to a new vehicle. But there are times when you can't. So if you decide to get rid of your car next year, you just spend $12,000 for a year worth of full self-driving. So it's really better off as a subscription model for $199 a month. Don't think I'll subscribe to it just because, like I said, I do enjoy driving. Laura enjoys driving. But it is a lot of fun. We're going to do some auto park stuff with it too. And really enjoying it. And the great thing is, if you are going to take a road trip, like we took a road trip to the Florida Keys last year, subscribe to it for the month and let it drive for you. And you know, I'm driving now, I'm looking at you. This is the most relaxing drive I've ever had. So this 2-hour ride down to Port Charlotte, you're not even going to get tired doing it.
And I feel like the autopilot is very good too, like which was the Smart Cruise in my Santa Fe. It's very good. I use that when I go back and forth to the beach. We're about an hour and a half from the beach, and so it's nice. It's not that you're not paying attention while you're driving. You are, but when you're tired, it's nice to have that little extra protection to know that the car is paying attention in case you're not paying attention for a second.
I love the nighttime graphics on the full self-driving. It's so cool. You can see the cars coming in the other direction. Right over there as the car goes by. We're gonna have a car come up on our left in just about a second. You can check that out, it's very cool. Nice.
In 1 mile, turn right onto Southwest Hibiscus Drive.
I tell you what, why don't you turn right on Southwest Hibiscus Drive? Because you're the one driving.
Hibiscus Drive.
I think you're gonna turn. Here we go. Nice. See if it picks up this guy on the bike. Yeah, I can see it on the screen.
In 500 feet, turn left onto Southeast Hillsborough Avenue.
Oh, it even slowed down because there were some potholes right there. Oh, that's very cool. It recognized that the street was kind of beat up with some potholes, and it slowed down so it wouldn't go over too bumpy. That is awesome.
Now turn left onto Southeast Hillsborough Avenue.
All right, let's see you turn. Got some cars coming on the right. It's waiting. It's starting to edge up, and we're clear. Nice. That is a sign of a good road trip. Some bug guts right there on the front.
Baby.
Car's locked with the custom sound. Hasta la vista, baby. All right, so thanks for coming along on our trip. If you like the content, please remember to like and subscribe so we know to put out more content about Tesla. If you have any questions about Tesla, please leave it in the comments, and I'll do my best to get back to you. All right? Did you have a good time?
Bye. Yeah.
Always fun road tripping in a Tesla. All right. Thanks for watching, and God bless to everyone. So let's get going.
And it's not stop.
Why you holding it?
I don't know what happened.
Let's,
I
so
felt
that's the power. All right. Double click. It's going to turn it from that side to that side. It's still recording, so you just want. Where you pointing the camera?
I'm trying to turn it on. Oh, it's on. It is on. How do I do that?
I love the nighttime. Oh, that's not it. Okay.
I'm clicking on the side.